All right, let's call this meeting to order. On April 20th, 2026. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco. Here. Councilmember Klein.
Here.
Councilmember Fugazi.
Here.
Councilmember Hilton.
Here.
Councilmember Marks.
Here.
Councilmember Ramirez.
Here.
Mayor Bozo.
Here. Item 1.3, City Clerk's report on posting of the agenda, please.
Thank you, Mayor. This agenda was posted on Thursday, April 16th at 1:25 p.m.
Thank you very much. Item 1.4, Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Councilmember Marks.
All right, please join me. Salute, pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do not have an invocation this evening. So I'm going to jump ahead to item 2.1. We have a proclamation of Earth Day, which will be received by Public Works representatives. And I will meet you at the podium, please. All right, thanks a lot. We have Matt Jones and John Souza and Greg from Parks and Rec Commission here today. Thank you very much. So, City of Gilroy proclamation. Whereas trees are a vital resource that enhance the beauty and character of the City of Gilroy, improve air quality, conserve water, reduce soil erosion, provide shade and habitat for wildlife. And whereas Earth Day is celebrated worldwide to demonstrate support for environmental protection and to promote sustainable practices that protect our planet for future generations. And whereas the City of Gilroy proudly maintains its commitment to urban forestry through park stewardship, tree planting initiatives, and ongoing maintenance programs that benefit residents and future generations. And whereas the City of Gilroy has been recognized as a Tree City USA community, demonstrating its dedication to effective urban forest management and environmental leadership. And whereas local efforts, including community tree planting events, park beautification projects, and partnerships with residents, volunteers, and community organizations strengthen Gilroy's commitment to a greener future. Now, therefore, I, Greg Bozo, Mayor of Gilroy, do hereby proclaim April 22nd, 2026 as Earth and Arbor Day in the City of Gilroy, and I encourage all residents, businesses, community organizations to celebrate by participating in the event at Sunrise Park, planting trees, and taking an active role in protecting and preserving our environment. Thank you.
So good evening, Mayor, members of council. On behalf of Public Works, I'd like to thank you all for this Arbor Day proclamation and your continued support for the urban forest. The city currently maintains over 16,000 trees, which provide shade, improve air quality, enhance our neighborhoods, and contributes to overall quality of life in our community. We're also proud to share that the city has been recognized as the Tree City USA for 44 consecutive years. It's an achievement only to cities that demonstrate strong commitment to maintaining and growing a healthy urban tree population. And then to tie into the mayor, Arbor Day celebration, community members come out, Sunrise Park, Wednesday, April 22nd from 1 to 3:30. We'll have staff on site. We'll plant 9 new trees. Have a good day enjoying the community and improving the park. Hope to see you there.
Thank you. Quick photo. Photo op. Can you guys take a photo with us? Come on. Come on up. case anybody doesn't know, so when Public Works Director John Dowdy holds an outdoor event, it does usually rain. But this year, the rain is going to stop before Wednesday afternoon at 12 o'clock. So please come out to our Earth Day activities at Sunrise Parks. We did it last year in the pouring rain. So. Moving on to item number 4, presentations to council. We have 2 this evening. And Sister Cities annual presentation will go first, and after that, it will be from Visit Gilroy. So take it away, Dave Peoples.
Notes. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. And the mic. Better?
No.
Okay. Better? All right. Start again. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. My name is Dave Peoples, and I'm the current president of Gilroy Sister Cities Association. Our mission, let's see if I can make this work now. Our mission is to promote peace through mutual respect and understanding and cooperation, one individual and one community at a time. Through people-to-people exchanges and initiatives. Our purpose is to foster, encourage, and promote the exchange of culture between cities of foreign nations, similar to the city of Gilroy. Now, just an update on what GSCA has been up to and doing. In 2021, anticipating another invitation from our sister city of Angra to send a young lady from Gilroy to participate in the 10-day San Juaninas Festival and join the Festival Queen's Court, as Gilroy has done for many years, a criteria and program was developed to offer the opportunity to become GSCA Cultural Ambassador to the Gilroy community at large. In the past, having just been offered to Garlic Festival Queens or Portuguese Lodge Festival Queens. Applicants must be an adult female, 18 to 24, a high school graduate, or no less than a senior in high school. I think we got the wrong one here. There we go. No. Sorry, I'm new at this. There we go. Applicants must be an adult female, 18 to 24, a high school graduate, or no less than a senior in high school, or a college or university student. Available for foreign travel in the month of June, a resident of Gilroy or within the 95020 zip code for at least 5 years. Have a current California driver's license, have a valid U.S. passport, and provide 2 letters of recommendation. This program gave us Abby Reynolds in 2022, Bridget Reynolds in 2023, Isabella Vieira in 2024, and Kennedy Agnich in 2025. Amazing young ladies that did a marvelous job of representing Gilroy, each participating in the 10-day San Juaninas Festival in Angra. In January of 2024, we hosted 2 TGIFA administrative representatives from Tacomache, who visited Gilroy to discuss with sister cities how we would move forward with our sister city relationship given the COVID hiatus, school closings in Tacomache, and other happenings in Tacomache and Gilroy. In July of 2024, my wife Marianne and I and a friend Diana Berry joined a tour group from California, many of them from Gilroy, first visiting Madeira, then leaving the group to visit various islands in the Azores, ending the week in Angra, meeting with the Angra mayor, various city officials, and enjoying many cultural and social events. In early October of 2024, my wife and I joined Garlic Festival board members David Reynolds and wife Paula, Cindy Fellows, Kirsten Carr, and Diana Berry to participate in the 35th anniversary of the Tacomache Garlic and Beef Festival. In late 2024, we hosted and enjoyed 10 junior high students, and 5 adults from Tacomachi for a week, assisting the Tacomachi Coordinator of International Relations, CIR, with homestay arrangements, visiting Gilroy schools, touring the Gilroy area, and arranging several social activities. In June of 2025, I applied and was selected to attend a 3-day international meeting of twinned or sister cities and municipalities between Portugal and the USA in Ponta Delgada on San Miguel Island in the Azores. The conference was hosted by FLAD, the Luso-American Development Foundation, a private nonprofit financially independent Portuguese institution. In breakout sessions, we discussed best practices of the different sister cities and the outlook for the future, enabling the strengthening of the bridge between the Azores and the U.S. I also learned that FLAD offered grant opportunities to organizations in cities that have sister cities in Portugal and the Azores. We're going to be exploring that program very soon. Other highlights of the conference were attending a panel discussion with the Chargé d'Affaires from the U.S. Embassy in Portugal and Portugal's ambassador to the U.S., also meeting the president of the Azores while attending a cocktail party at the presidential palace, and then dinner at a fabulous Fado restaurant. In mid-June, I think I hit the wrong button again. In mid-June of 2025, Kennedy, our GSCA ambassador, accompanied by her mom, attended the 10-day San Juan Niños Festival. Kennedy was not only part of the royal court on a parade float, but attended many scheduled sporting events, presenting awards, enjoyed concerts, and organized social events, and was interviewed many times by the media and met with the mayor and other officials. In October of 2025, my wife and I, our cultural ambassador Kennedy, and board member Burke McConkie traveled to Japan to represent Gilroy at the Garlic and Beef Festival in Tacomachi and joined the 40th anniversary celebration of the Gilroy-Tacomachi Sister City relationship. Social events, tours, dinners, and parties were fun and appreciated. Each of us was hosted in a homestay arrangement, which is the norm for Sister City visits. We had a great time and a very fulfilling cultural experience. Kennedy and I actually won prizes in the garlic spitting competition. Of course, I had plenty of practice, having been to the festival several times in the past years, and coached Kennedy on her technique. In late October of 2025, we hosted and enjoyed a week with 10 more junior high students and 5 adults from Tacomachi, again assisting the CIR with homestay arrangements, visiting Gilroy schools, arranging social events and parties, meeting with Mayor Bozo, and touring the Gilroy area as we've done many times in the past. In November of 2025, I attended the annual NorCal Sister City Conference in Orinda, California. Presentations were made by members of different sister cities, and the president of Sister Cities International was our keynote speaker. Comments about the activities of the other NorCal organizations and their interactions with their sister cities was extremely informative. Our program in Gilroy, though it may be small, it is pretty dang mighty. And listening to representatives from other sister city organizations, we're doing way more than most. In February of 2026, GSCA selected Audrey Kafer as our cultural ambassador. She will be attending the San Juan Niños Festival in June. Audrey is here this evening if you'd care to meet her or talk to her. Audrey, there she is. In February of 2026, Takomachi selected their 26th CIR from among only Gilroy applicants. Mayor Bozo was their first CIR, by the way. And GSCA has been involved in that selection for many years. On March 14th, 2026, GSCA and about 100 attendees enjoyed a very successful international dinner and fundraising event at the IFDES Portuguese Lodge in Gilroy. Last year, GSCA, joining with the City of Gilroy and Gilroy Garlic Festival, as we've done for many years, invited all 6 of our sister cities to the new Gilroy Garlic Festival. Unfortunately, short notice made it difficult for any to attend. But this year, letters will be going out soon, and we are hopeful that we will host delegates from 2 or 3 of our sister cities. To do this requires dedication and support from city government and the community. 2 years ago, we worked very hard to find a way to make this happen and entered into a 5-year consultant agreement with the City of Gilroy in August of 2024. At that time, GSCA assumed all responsibilities related to matters sister cities, with the exception of adoption of a new sister city, which only the city can do. Now, it is very important to understand that all travel and expenses on the part of GSCA board members are personally funded. As most of you know, it's also very important to remember that Gilroy has 6 sister cities. St. Clair, France, established in 1985, Monticelli, Italy, established in 1985, Takomachi, Japan, established in 1988, Koror, Palau in 1994, Tecate, Mexico in 1996, and Angra do Heroísmo in the Azores in 2004. The Gilroy, Takomachi, and Gilroy Angra relationships are strong and have remained very active over the years. St. Clair, Monticelli, and Tecate, not so much, and Koror, hardly at all. However, new lines of communications have recently been reopened, given the changes in the city administrations in St. Clair and Tecate, and it is expected that we will have renewed dialogue and cultural exchange with them very soon. With a little luck, the same will be in the offing with Monticelli. So now, I want to thank you for the opportunity to have come tonight, giving me the opportunity, and I'll try to answer any questions that you might have if you'd like.
Questions for Dave? Anybody? I just have one, Dave. So you mentioned Koror,
Yes.
not having much communication with them.
No.
At some point, would it be reasonable that the council, because this was from a resolution, I believe at one point, that we cleaned up that list?
There is a provision for that in how you go about doing it officially and declaring it a non-binding situation anymore. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll get that to you if you want to do that. I know it's. I'd like to see that too. It was a one-off thing that caused that relationship and resolution to be made to make them sister cities, and it was a very long and interesting way that came about.
All right. Thank you very much. And I think you might have questions from the crowd, but after you guys can meet outside in the lobby to answer your questions. Thank you, Julie. Thank you very much, Dave.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next will be Visit Gilroy, Frank Johnson.
Mayor, Council, City Administrator, people of Gilroy, thank you so much for this opportunity to just share some good news about Visit Gilroy and what we're doing for the community. We have Visit Gilroy is in charge of the Welcome Center out at the outlets, and we have one full-time staff person, which is Susan Childers. She's the Welcome Center manager. She's here tonight, and she's in charge of training the staff, setting schedules, inventory. And I must apologize right here to Priscilla. Priscilla came out tonight to support us, but this is last year's picture. We don't have a recent picture of all the whole staff. So, she came all the way out here. She's a critical member of the staff, so we're sure we'll fix that. But the Welcome Center out at the outlets is an important facet for visitors to Gilroy and also for Gilroy residents. Now for Visit Gilroy, I'm the only full-time employee, but we also have Mary Guriz Bejarno, who is the community engagement and social media liaison. She does a heck of a lot on the website too. She really keeps that running and up to date. There are 23 welcome centers in California, and we're proud to be we're an important one because we're at the nexus of Highway 101 and Highway 152. Something really interesting happened today. I'm just going to throw in there because of the California Welcome Centers. Visit California has a podcast called California Now, which I think they get 28,000 people listening to it minimum every time it goes. They're going to do a podcast just on Gilroy. So it just kind of shows that it's good to be a part of that biosphere. Also, the California Welcome Centers are doing a video on all the different welcome centers, and they're doing one specifically on Gilroy here soon. And our board of directors, some of which are here tonight, thank you for coming, represent pillars of the community, and that cover such areas as the farms, the hotels, Gilroy Chamber of Commerce, the Garlic Festival, and other aspects of tourism. Now, in 2025, we had a number of successes. Last time I was up here, we talked about the new website and branding. That's been very successful. Everybody loves it. And we reinforced Gilroy's position as a regional hub. We expanded content creator and influencer partnerships. One thing I'll mention there, which I think has been very successful, it's easy to hire an influencer that has 100,000 followers that like wine. But we've gone in kind of a different direction. We hired a local influencer that has 100,000 followers that mostly does food. But she's in her 20s, a Latina. Those groups don't go to the wineries as much as we would like. So instead of latching on to existing demographics, we're really expanding our reach by trying to just wave the flag and communicate that the wineries are fun and engaging for everybody. And that's been really successful. She has 100,000 followers, and so we're using our influencers very creatively. We created the Gilroy Mural Trail. We're leveraging regional assets for like the San Juan Bautista Rib Cook-Off and the Renaissance Fair. We've improved community engagement through an enhanced events calendar. If you haven't been to the Visit Gilroy calendar recently, please check it out. It's a real vibrant tapestry of all the events going on in town. And also I'll add that here recently we've been given permission through relationship building to add our events to the KMPH Channel 26 calendar in Fresno, which is a feeder city for us. So that's really exciting that we can add Gilroy events to that. And we boost reels in the Bay Area and Central Valley markets. Following the successes or continuing with the successes, a good website is a resource. It's not just someplace people click on once in a while they're driven to. It's a true resource where people can get information. We have over 400 business listings on our website. Now, one business can have a couple different listings. For example, Casa de Fruta will have a listing for sweets and treats. They'll have a listing for wine and one for their fruit stand. So we have identified 400 tourism assets, over 400 tourism assets, which include places to have coffee and tea and get donuts and wine and all kinds of tourism activities. We have 400 of those listings, including 90 restaurants. And you'll see on the right there how effective it's been at SEO. It's been absolutely tremendous for search engine optimization. A lot of these restaurants don't put a lot of energy into their SEO. Some of them don't even have websites. We all love Cafe Dolce Vita, for example. If you Google that, we're the second thing that comes up, Visit Gilroy. So now they can click on it and get their contact information right away. So Visit Gilroy is dedicated to tourism, but we're also very business friendly, and that it shows strong economic development tendencies by having strong search engine optimization. We also established a member portal, so these different listings can go in there, and they can actually update their listings. They can add new information, links, photographs to their listings, so they can take ownership of their listings. Now, with the travel across the country has been, put it mildly, a little rough. Travel in the United States is down 0.05%. I have trouble celebrating that it's up 0.08% in California. And that is largely, even that it's up a little bit, is largely driven by sports and luxury tourism. I recently came back from a conference, and 400 of us got up and talked about our different locations and what's working and what isn't. And I guarantee you every single one of them said it's flat, except the ones that had luxury tourism and sports tourism. Our hotels actually get, we can see a bump in numbers when there's sports events in Morgan Hill with their water park, water polo, and their soccer fields. So sports tourism is huge to fill the hotel rooms. And you see the top 5 visiting countries there. Mexico is still number 1. Unfortunately, Canada has really dropped off, and we don't have the international travel that we used to, and that contributes to our declining numbers in the Welcome Center right now because of the lack in international travel. We have a lot of advertising efforts this year that went extremely well. You can see our new visitor's guide up there if you haven't actually seen it in person. It's a wonderful little booklet, over 40 pages. Each page is like a little brochure in itself. We developed the Wineries of Gilroy brochure, trifold, which we love Wineries of Santa Clara Valley, right? I mean, they're part of our DNA. We stand shoulder to shoulder with them. But there's room for us to gain brand equity just with wine. If you say you're going wine tasting, if you're saying you're going to go out to different wineries, it has a certain feeling to it. And I wanted to have a Wineries of Gilroy brochure to kind of piggyback on that brand equity, to kind of raise and elevate our image in some ways. And that's been very successful. A lot of our customers have responded well to the Wineries of Gilroy brochure. And I'll say also that we have a trifold. If you've ever been to the San Jose airport and baggage claim there's the different brochures there. All the hotels in San Jose have our rack cards in them. It's gone up 30% this year. The Gilroy brochures have gone up 30% this year. Whether or not it's the new design, maybe the return of the Garlic Festival has made Gilroy name mean something. Maybe just our overall feeling and has increased. Good feelings have increased with the public, but 30% pickup is really substantial, increased pickup rate. And of course, we do some print ads, just not quite as much as we did in the past. We have more digital ads now. I want to play this for you real quick. This TV commercial we're using to stream. It won not just it didn't win a silver, it didn't win a gold, it won a platinum award at the Marketing Communication Awards.
Yummy! Who knew this was here?
So a real fun motivational spot that I think captures Gilroy very well. Another aspect that we're really pushing here is Gilroy as a hub. We can't compete with, we'll never be able to compete with Santa Cruz, Monterey. Our goal is to make us relevant in that context. So let me go ahead and hopefully this will go. So yes, there are people who come to Gilroy just for Gilroy, but I think there's a lot left on the table for people who go to the coastal locations and maybe could squeeze in an extra day if they just understood how close and accessible we are. Our website is up 55% over last year. So that just shows that our marketing is working and our branding is working. The social media is doing well. Paid media, over 5 million or almost 5 million impressions, over 1 million video views. And the best number there is a click-through rate of 0.64%, which is actually outstanding. That means that when you look at an ad, how many people are actually clicking on it? That's often much, much lower. And this is one of the best stats, is that our social media, combined Facebook and Instagram, is up 221%. So not up 21%, not up 100%, but 221%. So when you combine, and we have more followers than anybody regionally even close to us. So it's quite an accomplishment to go just that dramatically high in a year. And I see the numbers from this year so far. I think we're gonna improve upon that. Now, Gilroy messaging, more for less, a value destination. You can stay a week in Monterey, or you can stay 10 days in Gilroy. We don't like to say budget destination. We don't like to say it's less expensive. It's a value destination. And that works for us, and we want to keep asserting that. And of course, the travel hub, as I mentioned, also works too. And I'll say out of our travel assets that are listed there, Gilroy Gardens is the only one that's truly, absolutely unique. Lots of places have wineries, outdoor recreation, and so on, all of that. Gilroy Gardens is the only thing that's different. So I like to lean into that when I can. Of course, they have a very small window of age group and demographics and open certain times a year. But Gilroy Gardens is certainly the most unique asset we have. 2026 is looking great already. More video assets. You saw that TV spot that we did. I just recently added we just had some video shot where it shows more hiking, redwood trees, and hiking in Coyote Lake. We got permission from the county to do that. We're targeting the Central Valley. I told you about we're getting on the calendar for KMPH. We're also going to be running a TV commercial there. We're partnering with travel ads like Expedia already. For example, we spent $14,000 this year, and the net result so far is over $140,000 in sales at hotel rooms in this area. So that means that if you're looking for a hotel room in the Central Coast and you're looking for things, an ad pops up for Visit Gilroy and Visit California. We did it through them. You click on that, and a mini site that we built shows up that shows all the assets in Gilroy, and it's working. It's one of the highest click-through rates they have for a DMO our size, and it's a tenfold return in money, the money we spent versus people staying in the hotel rooms in Gilroy. We're working to improve our AI interface. We have to learn to speak to AI a little bit better. Even though our SEO is awesome, we have to stay on top of that. We're also emphasizing group travel and meetings. We're starting a new initiative here that I just really am excited about. If you look at a map, of course, we're the center of a lot of things. We're also affordable. And we don't have a convention center, but if you look at all of our meeting spaces, places like Neon Exchange, the upstairs at Old City Hall, the Veterans, the Portuguese Lodge, all these different places, we really have something to offer on a regional field, that we have all the services in town, and we're gathering those resources. If you add the wineries, that's another 10. We have 20 meeting places, event spaces in Gilroy. And so we're building that out, and I look forward to promoting that more for next year. And also we've added some sports tourism pages. I wish we could celebrate that a little bit more. We're just far enough away from the professional sports, but we're exploring that and doing what we can. So thank you, and I'm here to answer your questions.
Sure. Any questions for Frank? No? Great job, Frank. Thank you for the great explanation. Thank you very much. All right, moving on to item 4.3, public comment by members of the public on items not on the agenda but within subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council.
Thank you. I have three speakers, Melissa Santos, followed by Jan Bernstein Chargan and Julie Del Majora.
Go ahead, Melissa. You have 3 minutes. Doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's okay. Good evening, Mayor, council members, and administration. I wrote down my comments, so I stay within 3 minutes. My name is Melissa Santos, and I'm here representing Community Solutions. And I just wanted to take a moment during public comment to simply introduce ourselves. Many of you know us as a long-standing community partner serving Gilroy and South County. Community Solutions provides a range of services that support the well-being of our community, including mental health services, substance use treatment, housing and homelessness support, domestic violence, sexual assault, and human trafficking services, and programs that help individuals and families build stability and thrive. We know that strong communities are built through partnership, and we want the council to know that we are here as a thought partner, a collaborator, and as a resource as you continue your important work on behalf of Gilroy residents. We care deeply about this community. We are within the top 5 as far as number of people we employ in the city of Gilroy. So many residents work for us, and we look forward to continuing to work alongside the cities in the way that create hope, safety, health, and opportunity for all. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, Melissa.
Hi, I'm Jan Bernstein-Chargan with Pit Stop Outreach, and I haven't been here in a couple of months, but the last time I was here, we talked about Camp Hope, and you had approved a 90-day extension to allow that camp. For those who don't know, it's kind of in a little triangle of dirt between the freeway, the 6th Street Bridge, and part of Yagas Creek. That wasn't being used for anything. 25 people have set up, are camping there. They were swept from other parts of the city. And we've got maybe less than a month left on that extension. I'm here to ask you to bring it back and consider an additional extension or moving it to a month-to-month consideration, based upon whatever benchmarks we set. There is no other place for these folks to go. All that will happen is they'll be distributed and scattered around the city where we can't find them. I mean, the good news is just since the extension was granted, we've gotten 5 people into housing. They're no longer there. They're in permanent housing or they're in interim housing. Somebody else signed his contract last week. On paper, he's got housing, that he's still in his tent because of the way the process works. So he's going to have a move in soon. We just don't know when soon means. Every single other person there has had their VI SPDAT updated. Last week, a bunch of the guys there did a dump run. They collected garbage from the creek and from other areas, took stuff out, and borrowed weed whackers and took care of the hillside over there that's above the camp. So keep down the fire hazard. We've got fire extinguishers out there, and that, even though there's been a rash of arsons at other encampment areas a few months ago, not at Camp Hope. They have a no fire policy and they're sticking to it. Camp Hope works, and I know this city has an ordinance that talks about not camping within 500 feet of a bridge or 100 feet of a bridge. But when that ordinance was passed, the point was to keep people from camping near schools and in parks and damaging critical infrastructure. It was never meant for the city to tie its own hands and prevent something that's actually working in favor of something that works, that does not work as well. It saves the quality of life officers time to be able to be there with everybody at one place, and it saves the service providers time. And the biggest thing that prevents people from getting housing is that we can't find them when their name comes up. And we can't find them when we've got to help them through their document search. So we've got something that's working. Would I say perfectly? No, but it is working. Raise the money privately to cover the porta potties, and talk to Christy Thomas about getting me those invoices so we can cover it, so it won't be a cost to the city. And we want to keep doing that, and I want to thank you and hope you will at least bring it back for discussion.
Thank you, Jan. Julie's next. You have 3 minutes, Julie.
Thank you. I talk fast. I'm an Italian girl. So I wanted to bring up a few things. I've recently moved back to Gilroy in the last couple of years. A little bit about me. I've been a mental health worker, counselor for 41 years. I was in Gilroy Sister City for 2 years, working as a CIR. I'm still pretty connected to a lot of the people there. Somehow my language skills they're still there. I'm pretty fluent. When I was there, I started an art exchange with the schools here and the schools over in Takamachi. And what I'm looking at, the conversation that's happening right now, I just joined the Garlic Artist Roundtable, and I'm just bringing up the issue of trying to reach out culturally. Art is its own language. It's universal. And the kids loved it. We would do large postcards, and they would draw things about their hobbies and learn a little bit about language exchange. I'd like to restart this. I'm a substitute teacher in this school district for 25 years, and so I'm connected there. So I want to try and use those resources to bring people together, and I'd like to extend it to Monticelli, Italy as well. So that's one of the things in the work. The other thing, and I'm glad people are talking about the unhoused, I've worked with the unhoused since 1997 when I left UCSC with my psych degree and went out to save the world. And I would like to really raise awareness. I think there's a lot of people that don't understand the systemic issues that are behind the unhoused. We have a huge population of people with traumatic brain injuries, children that have aged out of foster care, domestic violence victims, senior citizens, veterans, people that are suffering from drug and alcohol issues. The only model that I've seen that's been able to capture a lot of this is down south. They have something called the Dream Center, trying to talk really fast, where a lot of churches and different communities have come together to fund this, it's like a small city, and it has wraparound services, it has drug and alcohol, it has helping people with housing, with education, with mental health services. And once these people, quote unquote, graduate, they come back and they volunteer. So it's self-sustaining. But I'd like to find out who's doing these sort of things and partner with them. And I have a bunch of other ideas, but those are the two I brought tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Julie.
I have no further speakers.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for the public comment. Moving on to item number 5, reports of council members. Councilmember Bracco.
Nothing to report.
Councilmember Fugazzi.
Nothing to report.
Councilmember Marks.
Yes, just real quick. I attended the Gilroy Sister Cities board meeting last week, and I'm not going to repeat anything that Dave presented tonight, except it's good to know that Gilroy Sister Cities has just been invited to go speak at Christopher High School in hopes of getting some of the students interested in the program and joining in to help them. That's it.
Thank you. Councilmember Hilton.
Thank you. From Silicon Valley Clean Energy, staff provided an update on the agency's integrated decarbonization roadmap and solicited input from the board. The roadmap is an update to the original SBCE 2018 decarbonization strategy that will set the agency's program priorities and electrification targets through 2045 in alignment with California's carbon neutrality mandate. The update included program budget projections, progress toward electrification goals, and a discussion on prioritization strategies for program budget scenarios. The final roadmap is expected to be adopted by the board in October 2026. SVCE has 30 active programs and offerings which make it easier and less costly for residents and businesses to transition to electric appliances and vehicles. The board held a discussion item on the SVCE program impacts from January to December 2025. The presentation provided specific findings from select SVCE programs. To date, SVCE programs have supported the electrification of over 2,900 homes, trained over 370 contractors, and supported installation of over 600 electric vehicle chargers. In February 2025, SVCE purchased a 28,000 square foot two-story building that will serve as the agency's new headquarters in downtown Sunnyvale. The shell of the building was renovated in 2019, and SVCE needs to complete the interior build-out before occupying it. Construction began in early March with the goal of relocating operations by July of 2026. From Santa Clara County, LAFCO, today was the LAFCO Environmental Justice Workshop special meeting, where we provided input on developing a vision and guiding principles for integrating an environmental justice lens in LAFCO's work. We received an overview of MTC ABAG's Plan Bay Area 2050 Plus, including the equity component of the plan and how the plan overlaps with LAFCO's mission to curb sprawl, preserve agriculture and open space, and encourage efficient delivery of services. The countywide water and wastewater service review project, which involves a comprehensive review of water services, including recycled water, wastewater services, and stormwater management in Santa Clara County, kicked off with stakeholder public engagement, public community engagement, and outreach. The Los Altos City Council has provided direction to explore all options for fire protection services in the city of Los Altos. This included evaluating extension of the current contract with County Fire, negotiation of a new contract, and annexation of the city into the fire district. After reviewing all options on March 10th, the Los Altos City Council directed staff to submit an application to LAFCO for annexation into the Santa Clara County Central Fire Protection District, also known as County Fire, and directing staff to negotiate property tax transfer and potential transfer of both fire stations to the County Fire as part of the annexation. The proposed annexation will not raise or change property tax rates for residents. This application may be coming forward at the June LAFCO meeting, and I'll be reporting back here to Gilroy as we are currently evaluating our fire service model and options too. Lastly, we have a renewed opportunity to encourage and educate the community on biking, walking, and traffic safety around Gilroy. Gilroy City Council members, GUSD Board Trustees, GUSD staff, Gilroy City staff, county staff, and community partners were all in the planning group for the March 27th Traffic Safety, E-Bike, and Pedestrian Awareness Night event, and will continue to develop the program to meet the needs of the community. Thanks to the students and community members for volunteering and attending, and come stop on my booth at the second annual Cinco de Mayo Run and Festival on Sunday, May 3rd from 8 to 1 p.m. at Christmas Hill Park. Along with free resources available at my booth, I'll be providing a free bike valet for the event. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Ramirez.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple things. I had the honor of attending the Gilroy Fire Department's annual new hire and promotional ceremony. Congratulations to all who were promoted and welcome to all new hires. Kudos to the Downtown Business Association for a hugely successful wine walk in downtown Gilroy on Saturday. It was well attended. People had a great time, and it was an opportunity to showcase our downtown. I think it's a great start to our festival season. Community Solutions Healing Hearts Gala raised over $115,000 to support their critical services and programs, so congratulations to all who were at that. Congratulations to Community Solutions, and thank you to everyone who attended and donated. I'd like to say a special thank you to the City of San Jose for the opportunity to witness the beginning of the abatement of one of their largest unhoused encampments known as the Jungle along the Coyote Creek. This was a collaborative effort among several of the departments within the city. They had their parks, recreation, neighborhood services. They had their housing people. They had the animal control out there and the police department. They all worked together. They also had a vendor, an outside vendor that was actually doing the heavy lifting of the cleanup. Prior to the abatement, they had identified 109 individuals. All 109 individuals were provided housing opportunities. Before the first day of the abatement, 40 of those individuals had already been housed, and they are housing on average 6 of those people a day, and hope to have them all housed before the abatement finishes in about 30 days. Participating in this event provided me another opportunity to learn what other cities are doing to address homelessness as I continue my research into best practices and lessons learned that can be applied to the community of Gilroy. So thank you to the City of San Jose for that. I attended the Cities Association meeting, the Legislative Action Committee meeting, as well as the board meeting. Just a couple of things that we voted on: SB 1013, automated license plate recognition systems. We approved it if amended to say that all vehicle information, the hot list and not hot list, kept for 30 days. SB 1159 had to do with artificial intelligence, the transparency in government. We supported yes as written. AB 1761, electricity, the calculation methodology, data disclosure, not changing the calculation methodology, but providing transparency. We voted to support that, and also supported the fire safety hazard and severity zones, which was AB 2517. We took no position on a number of different things until further discussion. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Klein.
Yeah, I attended the April 8th meeting of Silicon Valley Clean Energy Authority JPA board remotely as the alternate for Councilmember Hilton in our newly created council member's office. Actually, it's a really nice, if you want to see that, you've got to make an appointment with your council member and they'll give you a tour. I also attended on the 9th the meeting of the BTA Policy Advisory Committee remotely as the alternate for Councilmember Hilton, and had the pleasure and surprise of sharing the office with Morgan Hill Councilmember Yvonne Martinez-Beltran. She was very active at that moment, so it was actually fun to share the meeting and just hang out with her, so I had a great time. And recently, I was appointed the chair for the Silicon Valley Regional Interoperability Authority Board and the VTA Mobility Partnership Committee. On Saturday, I attended the 5th annual Gilroy Gardening Group's plant sale outside of the historic Miller Red Barn and hosted by the Miller Red Barn Association. There were so many tomato and mixed vegetable plants, flowers, trees, and other varieties available along with the outside vendors, including our recreation department and environmental services. Great representation. And from what I saw and heard, it was a great turnout by our community to support this successful event. And the partnership allows the Gilroy Gardening Group to share revenue with the Miller Red Barn Association, so it's a win-win for all. I also attended with Councilmember Ramirez the Heart of Gilroy Wine Stroll in historic downtown Gilroy, put on by the Gilroy Downtown Business Association. And again, from what I saw, it was well attended and successful for the DGBA and supporting businesses. And it was great seeing the Gourmet Alley activated with so much activity behind it. So it was done really well. So I just say kudos to the group that did this. On Sunday, did you know it was was National Garlic Day? It was. And didn't it make sense to have Gilroy Gardens, Christopher Ranch, and the Garlic Festival team up together and celebrate that day at Gilroy as Gilroy's garlic capital of the world, right? And it was great. It was an incredible day there. I mean, anytime you go to Gilroy Gardens, we mentioned that, there's something special about that place. And Sunday, it was an extremely special place. To see Garlic Festival out there with the Gourmet Alley making the garlic bread. Christopher Ranch supplied all the materials to do that. I got to help volunteer and cut my thumb. But it was fun. It was fun. The people, it was Locals Day, so you got to come, if you're a local, you got to pay $12 and come in for the day. So all the patrons came through that area, that white tent. They got a bowl of garlic bread. They got garlic ice cream. They got this, it was really good. It's Toon's garlic dip with pretzels. And they got this garlic peeling canister. If you ever get that, it's pretty cool, dude. You throw the garlic in there, shake that thing up, and it peels the garlic for you. It's really a time saver. Christopher Ranch, they helped sponsor it. They had Ken Christopher with the Elephant Garlic book reading at noontime, and then the return of the Queen pageant. And I want to say congratulations to Rachel Gallagher, our 2026 Garlic Queen, and to the rest of her court. So again, if you didn't get a chance to be there, you missed it. It was great, and it's a winning combination. It really shows who we are as a community, and my heart was swollen out there. It was so great to see everything. So I'll just say kudos to everyone that did Garlic Festival Association, Christopher Ranch, and of course, Gilroy Gardens. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great report, everybody. All right, I'm going to move on to item number 6, consent calendar. We have quite a few items on the list. Are there any questions for staff regarding the consent? No questions. I'd like to move to public comment.
I have no speakers.
Okay. Back to council.
I move to pass the consent calendar.
Second?
So I have a motion to approve the consent calendar, item 6.1 through 6.10. A roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco? Yes. Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Item number 7.1, bids and proposals. Award a 2-year contract to Hello Housing to administer the city's below-market rate housing program with 3 one-year extension options in a total amount not to exceed $973,689, and adopt a resolution amending the budget in the Housing Trust and Los Arroyos funds. Take it away, Bryce.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. As the Mayor mentioned, this is a report to get Council consideration to award a contract to Hello Housing to be our below-market rate housing program administrator. In the staff report is a detail on the BMR portfolio history. Don't worry, I'm not going to read through all of it. But in brief, the city had 138 units, and then South County Housing ceased adding another 155 to us. But currently, we have approximately 250 ownership units, 2,000 rental units, as well as financing, loans, and future units as they're developed as well. The current agreement we have with House Keys, which is our current vendor, started in April of 2017, expires June 30th of this year. This has triggered a competitive RFP process, which was initiated in December. The RFP contemplates a 2-year agreement with 3 one-year extension options, which is pretty typical for the city's contracts. An RFP was directly marketed to 7 firms, including advertisements in the newspaper, as well as our city website. We did receive 2 proposals. House Keys proposed, as well as Hello Housing, which is a new vendor to us. Evaluation team of 4 city staff members conducted the assessment of their proposals. On the screen is the evaluation scores. Hello Housing scored the highest. It was also the lowest cost proposal that we received. Fiscal impact is $973,689 over 5 years. That's assuming that all 3 extension options are selected or are executed. As mentioned, there's also a budget amendment. That's for about $12,000 for program setup fees, which is a little bit more than we have for this year budgeted. There's ample funding and revenue streams from both of those funds to support the contract. So the recommendation is for Council to award a contract to Hello Housing to administer the below market rate housing program from July 1, 2026 to June 3, 2028, with 3 one-year extension options, and authorize the city administrator to execute the contract, and then as well adopt a resolution amending the fiscal year 26-27 budget and the listed funds. And that completes the presentation. Happy to address any questions.
Thank you very much. First questions from council will be by Councilmember Fugazi.
First question is, compared to the previous contract, financially, how does this compare? Is it 20% more, 30% more?
It's per year, it's actually pretty close. So right now, under our existing contract with House Keys, this is the last year in that contract. It's $180,000 a year. They have additional other fees in addition for depending on certain transactions that take place. And so in the first year of proposal for Hello Housing is $178,000. So it's a little slightly cheaper. But the contract renewal under House Keys is significantly larger. So they're increasing that amount by
And these 2 funds, how much are in these 2 funds right now? And what would happen if we were upside down on this? Would it come out of the general fund, or?
If upside down, yes, it would come out of the general fund. There's usually about I think it was $400,000 right now in the Housing Trust Fund. I have to look at the Los Arroyos Fund. I'm not sure about that fund.
So the likelihood of this being where it's going to end up coming out of the general fund because it's short in future years?
No, it has cash flow that comes in each year from different BMR transactions that happen. So far, the fund has been stable.
And before the previous contract, did we operate this in the same way?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Bracco, please.
Bryce, I thought this is why we needed a housing manager. And we have a housing manager, so why do we need this now?
We have a housing manager. It helps administer the broad program. So not just, so they'll oversee the contract, make sure that the contractor is providing services properly. They also oversee the other functions, CDBG, or other housing functions, the PLHA funds. So they oversee a broad spectrum. The services are provided under the BMR administrator are very specialized and complex. And it's not just the housing program, it's also...
Like what?
So the BMR programs, it's looking at equity shares across the different, between us and the owner, as well as looking at the different programs and funding sources that we have for the new BMR. I'm blanking on the name of the program, the repurchase program that we have with our BMR units. So they manage those. They look at compliance checks. So they check each of the housing units that we have under the BMR program, make sure that they're compliant with the owners, or in a lot of the cases, the renters with the 2,000 rental units. So it's a large body of work to do that. Plus, you have the other programs where there's the outreach, the advertising. There's a website dedicated for portal applications in order to process an application to fulfill one of those or to attain one of those units. So there's a lot of different work alongside that. There's website administration. So it's not just something that one single position could do, especially when we have our position doing a lot of different functions.
Thank you.
Further questions? I have a question. Can you say roughly about how many, you were talking about some of the services that they provide are to make sure that renters and homeowners are in compliance with the terms that they signed up for?
Yes.
Do you have a rough number about how many different
so
residences?
they'll check on all the units that we mentioned. So 2,000 rental units that they'll be monitoring. We have about 250 home ownership program. This also includes any future units that come online from future developments that come into the city. And then also any loans. They can check for loan compliance as well.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to move to public comment.
I have no speakers.
All right. Any further questions or comments by council? If not, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion to award a contract to Hello Housing to administer the below market rate housing program from July 1st, 2026 to July 30th, 2028 with 3 one-year extension options, and authorize the city administrator to execute the contract and associated documents, and adopt the resolution amending the fiscal year 26-27 budget to increase appropriations in the Housing Trust Fund by $6,240 and the Los Arroyos Fund by $5,760 for the fiscal year 2027 services of this contract. I have a motion by Councilmember Marks. I need a second.
I'll second.
I have a second by Councilmember Ramirez. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco? Yes. Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much, Bryce. Moving on to item 7.2, award a contract to 17 Mile Construction in the amount of $198,900 for tenant improvements at 641 Old Gilroy Street, which is the Jessup property. Approve a project contingency of $19,100 and approve a total project expenditure of $218,000. Go ahead, Carl. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. My name is Carl Biarki. I'm the interim utilities director. We're here tonight to ask the council to award a tenant improvement contract for the future utilities operations facility located at 641 Old Gilroy Street. This property was purchased just last year, was paid for with utilities monies with the purpose of expanding the footprint of the corporation yard and having a dedicated home for the utilities operations teams. That would be the water and the sewer teams. You can see on this aerial photo here, the space outlined in orange is the property, also known as the Jessup property. It was owned by the Jessup family as a trucking company. And the beauty of this location, as you can see, is right up against our existing corporation yard. So that is really tremendous that fell into us, and it maintains the collaboration that we have, utilities operations teams and the public works teams. We want to make sure that continues. A little look inside the buildings that we purchased. It was originally developed in the 70s and early 80s. There are two buildings on the site. There's what we call the front building and the rear building. Total square foot, about 7,600 square feet. And there comes with a 1 acre paved area, so that works well for a corporation yard. Due to the age of the facility and these buildings, there are definitely renovations required for that. And again, our goal is to make it a nice, operational, comfortable location for our utilities crews. We've gone into this with the goal of trying to get this thing completed by the end of this fiscal year, the end of June, and that's still our goal. I guess I'll point out a couple of the photos here. The ones on the left and the right, those are interior to the front building. That's where our water operations team will go. The middle photo is where we'll have a locker room for all the crews. And so, the layout works out well for us. It's just a matter of cleaning it up and bringing it up to code. The scope for this particular contract is we kind of have it in three areas. The water operations, which is the front building, the sewer operations, which will be in the rear building, and then we have a fairly significant ADA ramp that needs to be built out there as well. So that was kind of the scope of the contract. Inside the building, we'll be doing things like repairing the flooring, interior painting, drywall repair, installing energy efficient lights, cabinets, backsplash, some minor plumbing, and then ensuring that we have ADA access throughout. Another couple of photos of inside the building. How we acquired our bids. The utilities staff we solicited bids using the informal Public Works bid solicitation process that complies with our purchasing policy. And we received 4 bids. And we looked at those bids for completeness, responsiveness, and then, of course, cost, because we are going to award to the lowest responsible bidder. And that was 17-mile construction, based on the bid results you see there. When we knew it was going to be, or our recommendation was going to be 17-mile, we reached out to we asked them for references. This contractor is actually in Carmel, and they do a lot of hotel renovations and residential work. So we wanted some references. They gave us some. We talked to these people, and that all checked out really well. Everybody was very pleased with how responsive they are. They get their work done like they say they're going to. And then we interviewed the company itself because we want to make them understand what our expectations were and the schedule we were on and all that kind of thing. And that all checked out really well. They've kind of indicated to us they're excited to come into Gilroy and help us get this project done. We're proposing funding that's already in our fiscal year 26 budget, and we're going to split it down the middle, half water, half sewer funds. And on the right there, you can see we're the low bid, $198,900. We're asking for just about 10% contingency, which would be $19,100. So the total authorization we're seeking tonight is $218,000. Next step, assuming this gets approved this evening, we'll jump right in with our contractor, get the contract going, paperwork behind that done. And our goal is to mobilize on May 1st. We've been talking to the contractor about that, and they seem to be on board with that. And he's also indicated he thinks he'll get this done by the end of June. So that's the schedule we're on, and then we can begin the occupancy starting in July. So the council recommendation this evening is to award a public works contract in the amount of $198,900 to 17-mile construction for the tenant improvements project at 641 Old Gilroy Street. Approve the project contingency of $19,100 for a total project authorization of $218,000, and authorize the city administrator to execute the contract documents and approve any future change orders within the contingency. And that concludes my report. Happy to answer any questions.
Sure. Looks like first one for questions is Councilmember Fugazzi.
So you said this isn't a Gilroy company, right?
It's not a Gilroy company.
And this seems like pretty basic kinds of construction stuff, right? Throwing up drywall, framing some stuff. Is there any reason why you think that we can't attract Gilroy contractors to do this kind of work in Gilroy?
Well, we did, the way we solicited contractors was we talked to people who, like in our facilities group, who've done renovations for other city facilities. They provided a recommendation to us. The key, and so we asked for recommendations, but the key with this work is they have to pay prevailing wage. And to do that, you're registered with the Department of Industrial Relations. We would have loved to have a local contractor do that, but we couldn't. We were, you know, and for a project this size, to have the prevailing wage component in there was a challenge for us. So
You're saying people in Gilroy don't like to pay prevailing wage?
Well, actually, sorry, I'm going to interrupt. Actually, the second place bidder who missed it by 2% is a local company. Method Construction.
Oh, okay, so good.
A local company.
So for 2%, we decided to go outside.
We don't have a policy that allows for local preference.
Good point.
Yeah.
This is
And
definitely
maybe
something.
we can think about it someday.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Not for public.
Not for public works projects. Which this is.
Do we have any for other department projects?
Yeah, so.
You guys have your mics on,
a
sorry.
purchasing policy, but by
Neither of
state
you do.
contract code, public works contractor generally cannot be let by local preference. So that's the carve out.
Further questions? Thank you. I'll go to public comment.
I have no speakers.
Okay.
I would say the numbers, you had your budget to come in with those numbers. You should feel pretty good about that.
We were happy, and the fact that the bids were tight.
Yeah, very tight.
When they're in that same range, you feel pretty good about.
I know. In the bid market, you hate to be 2% low or 2% high from that because you think of what you could have left out to get the job. So, yeah. Thank you.
Well, if there are no further questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion to award a public works contract in the amount of $198,900 to 17 Mile Construction for the tenant improvement project at 641 Old Gilroy Street, and approve a project contingency of $19,100 for a total project authorization of $218,000, as well as authorize the city administrator to execute the contract documents and approve any future change orders within the project contingency.
A motion.
I have a motion by Councilmember Klein.
Second.
I have a second by Councilmember Ramirez. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco?
Yes.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks? Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
And Mayor Boso.
Yes. Motion passes 7-0. Moving on to item number 8. This is now a public hearing. Item 8.1, public hearing to establish a list of properties subject to the weed abatement program and adoption of a resolution authorizing the fire chief to abate the nuisance arising out of weeds growing and refuse accumulating upon property in the city of Gilroy pursuant to section 12.51 of the Gilroy Code. First, I want to ask council if there's any ex parte communications. No. Take it away, Jonathan.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, City Council, and Gilroy residents. Tonight's agenda covers the second step in the annual weed abatement program. On February 9th, 2026, the City Council adopted Resolution 2026-06, declaring weeds and refuse a public nuisance. This included a list of properties with a history of non-compliance. The weed abatement program process follows both city and state health and safety codes, requiring a public hearing before authorizing abatement. This meeting serves two purposes: authorizing the fire chief to abate nuisances, such as weeds and refuse, and allowing property owners to request removal from the list. All listed property owners received a public hearing notice, abatement instructions, and cost information. Property owners were also informed that the weed abatement deadline is May 15th. Property owners present tonight may request removal by explaining why their property should not be on the list. The request will be reviewed by the Gilroy Fire Department, Santa Clara County Weed Abatement Program, and City Council. If you wish to speak, please request a time now. I'm the Fire Marshal, Jonathan Crick, and Weed Abatement Program Manager, Garrick Isoloveski. We're both here available if you have any questions. Thank you.
Okay, any questions for either of these gentlemen by council? If we have none, I am going to now open the public hearing and ask the city clerk if there are any public comments, please.
I have no speakers.
Okay, I will now close the public hearing. Bring it back to council for any further questions or comments. Okay, I'm going to entertain a motion. Thank you. To adopt a resolution of the City Council and the City of Gilroy authorizing the fire chief to abate the nuisance arising out of weeds growing and the refuse accumulating upon property in the City of Gilroy pursuant to Section 12.51 of the Gilroy City Code. I have a motion by Council Member Bracco. Looking for a second, please.
I'll second.
I got a second by Council Member Klein. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco? Yes. Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Thank you, Jonathan. Moving on to item, and Garrett, sorry. Thank you, Garrett. Moving on to item 8.2, we're still in public hearings. Amend Chapter 15, Section 15.11 of the Gilroy City Code by adding reference to California Vehicle Code Section 22358, allowing the City Council to reduce prima facie speed limits in school zones from 25 miles an hour to 15 miles per hour or 20 miles per hour per Assembly Bill 382. Staff report, please.
Thank you, Mayor, council members, community. John Dowdy, Public Works Director. Tonight, we are seeking to amend Section 1511 of the Gilroy City Code, and that would add reference to new California Vehicle Code Section 22358. Section 22358 was added by the Assembly Bill 382 as part of an overall effort to adjust some safety concerns and issues within school zones, as well as some other provisions, but primarily focused on school zone safety. Primarily, 22358.4 is what we're looking for, but it made sense to include the entirety of 22358 because there were some other benefits of that. 22358.4 allows, as indicated by the mayor, allows us to reduce from 25 miles per hour to 15 or 20 miles per hour, depending on circumstances, and those are laid out within the Assembly Bill item. The resolution that would need to be adopted as part of this follow-up is scheduled for June 15th with the City Council. In the meantime, staff will be evaluating, assuming, again, adoption of this amendment, working with consultant to evaluate each of the public school sites, recommend prima facie speed zones, depending on, again, 382, as well as to provide recommendations regarding signage changeouts and other markings as necessary to implement speed limit changes. Staff will be initiating a similar evaluation for this for the private schools as well. I know that's been an issue and concern within the community. But from just a workload perspective and everything of that deal, we've tried to focus first on the public schools, and then we'll follow with the private schools, a little more involved with the private schools because many of them lack some signage and provisions that the public schools actually have right now. Staff's commitment is to have required signage installed by the beginning of school year, basically August 18th, 17th, 18th. Around that point is what we're gearing toward to deal with that, and that's our commitment to have those installed. During this time, we will definitely focus on getting information out, working with GUSD to inform the school community. We're also interested in community outreach to let folks know that these speed limit changes are coming. And also, we will continue our efforts with regard to collaboration with stakeholder groups regarding pedestrian, bicycle, and driver safety. So that does not stop because of this. That just is an add-on to the efforts. This item includes a request for a budget amendment, adding $150,000 from the vehicle license fee fund to cover consultant assistance, signage, and associated work. And basically, our recommendation, as noted, is to conduct a public hearing tonight, introduce and waive first reading of the ordinance, direct staff to place the ordinance for adoption on May 18th, and adopt a resolution approving the budget amendment. This concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, John. Any questions for John? Go ahead, Councilmember Ramirez.
Let me turn on my microphone. Thank you. Thank you so much for this. I think it's really important, and I completely support it. I'm glad to hear, because one of my questions was, if you had any plans for any kind of a campaign to get the word out. So I'm glad to hear that. I do want to know, when do you plan to start the evaluation around the private schools? I think that all our children need to be kept safe, and I just don't want this to be kicked down, another year or two down the line. So can I get some type of a commitment from you as to...
Sorry, I skipped a line in my presentation.
I'm sure you did, John.
Which was, that's right here. Actually, we were looking to begin on the private schools in September.
Perfect.
So
Thank
let
you.
us finish up, get the signs up, and then we will come back in September and begin the evaluation and assessment for private schools.
Thank you. And then this is completely separate from the traffic study that we're thinking about doing. Is that correct?
I'm not,
Well, there had been conversation around doing a traffic study around all the schools and determining what kind of things we could do.
Sure. So this is separate from that, but will be part of ultimately information that needed for those studies. But right now we're completing work on the Los Animas. We committed to the Los Animas school site. We have a study in process there. That's going to be finalized in mid-May, and we'll be coming back with recommendations. Frankly, part of the funding for this we are anticipating being used to implement some of the recommendations from the Los Animas study, looking at Charles Lux in that area. We also are in the process of developing a grant application, which would look at studying all the public schools.
Thank you.
And that
I
would
just
be
wanted
the
to make sure people
broader
understood
perspective on that, yes.
Those are different. Okay, thank you so much.
Additional questions for John? None? Okay, I am going to open the public hearing and ask the city clerk, are there any public comments?
I have no speakers.
Okay, I'm going to officially close the public hearing. Go back to council for any follow-up comments. Go ahead, Councilmember Hilton.
My only discussion would be that let's just be really clear with GUSD on what we want them to promote for us, because I know that there's been sometimes confusion. Like we'll say, yeah, can you promote this? And it won't go on their social media, but sometimes they'll go out to the schools. They have the most intense program to be able to get in touch with every single parent in the city. So I think if we're really trying to be purposeful with this, let's be really purposeful and specific with our ask. So we can try to get the most word out about this. That'd be my comment.
Councilmember Ramirez?
I think it should be a dual effort by city and GUSD. I agree that they're going to hit all their parents, but there are a number of drivers that are not parents that drive by schools, and so I think it needs to be a complete campaign awareness campaign, citywide as well.
We have a joint GUSD city administrator and mayor meeting tomorrow, so we'll be talking to them immediately about this. Sure. Okay, then I am going to go ahead and do the first, I'm going to entertain the first motion on this. I have a lot of reading here. So
you want me to do it?
Please, thank you.
All right, so the first one would be introduce and waive the first reading of the ordinance amending Chapter 15, Section 15.11 of the Gilroy City Code, adding reference to the California Vehicle Code Section 22358, allowing the City Council to reduce prima facie speed limits in school zones from 25 miles per hour to 15 miles per hour or 20 miles per hour per Assembly Bill 382.
Looking for some motions. We have a motion by Councilmember Fugazi and a second by Councilmember Ramirez. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco? Yes. Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
So next up would be,
City clerk
Sorry.
first needs to read the title. Sorry about that. Thank you.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Gilroy amending Chapter 15, Section 15.11 of the Gilroy City Code by adding reference to the new Vehicle Code Section 22358.4, which permits the lowering of speed limits under certain circumstances in school zones.
Thank you. Take away, Councilmember Hilton.
next up would be direct staff to place the ordinance for adoption at the May 18, 2026 meeting and adopt a resolution approving a budget amendment adding $150,000 from Fund 220 vehicle registration fee to capital project number 801-120 citywide safety improvements.
I got a motion by Councilmember Fugazi
Second.
and a second by Councilmember Marks. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco? Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Thank you, Zach. Moving on to item 9.1, receive an update on emergency medical dispatch, service cost escalation, and service delivery evaluation, and approve of a 2-year agreement with the Santa Clara County Communications Department for emergency medical, EMD services in the amount of $170,256 for fiscal year 27 and $329,803 in fiscal year 28. Staff report, please.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members, members of the public. I'm your Fire Chief, Rob Fleop. So tonight's item is an informational update on the emergency medical dispatch and the updated cost allocation associated with this service. So the goal tonight is just to provide clarity on the current cost structure and the outline of the evaluation that's underway so we can return to you with our recommendations. That said, I'm going to start with a brief overview of what the EMD service is. So what is EMD? These are specially trained 911 call takers and dispatchers that answer your calls for service, especially when it comes to emergency medical services. They're going to determine the severity of the emergency, asking appropriate questions, and these are very specific. This is protocol driven. They follow a script. It's just very specific. What they'll end up doing is coming up with what we will call a determinant. The determinant will come out with a number, and they are able to send appropriate first responder services as needed. So that's why you'll see a fire truck, an ambulance, multiple fire trucks, PD, things like that. This all comes from this service. So just kind of for clarity, when you dial 911, I'll go over that in just a second here, there's a whole lot that goes into play. So we always think about the fire truck, the ambulance, and the police department as your first responders. This is kind of the initial first of the first responders. So there's a lot of, basically a lot of moving parts just to even start the whole process to start the dispatch. So what it looks like in Gilroy. So currently, when you call 911 within the city of Gilroy, it hits right over to our local PSAP, our ECC, which is overseen by the police department. Once it goes there, they'll ask, hey, is this a police, is this a fire, or is this a medical emergency? Based on your answer, it will basically go where it needs to go. In our case, we're going to say it is, I'm having a medical emergency. Our call taker takes the general information, and that is verifying callback phone number and address. They'll send that right off to the dispatcher, and in Gilroy, this is specific to us, they will immediately initiate a response from the fire department. So we're cutting down time. So we're looking at 15, 20 seconds, and it's just an address, and you're going to a medical. They will take that caller, and they will actually pass the caller up to county communications to initiate the emergency medical dispatch. They will say, go ahead, caller, and the county will actually start a scripted, tell me what's going on, and they will come up with up to 36 different complaints. So I can just really tell you, so if you say I'm having chest pain just happens to be the 10 card, they will go to 10, they will come up with some information, they will call Gilroy back and say we have a determinant of, you may hear these numbers like a 10 delta 1 chest pain, somebody that's sweaty, we think they're actually having a cardiac event. That information then gets relayed to the first responders. At the same time that determinant is happening in the county comms, they're calling the county ambulance. So that initiates an ambulance response. Within that time frame, hopefully the Gilroy Fire Department is either halfway there or pulling up on scene. So sometimes this can take a little bit, but this is the first of our first responders, and this is our industry standard. So this process is quite literally part of the emergency medical services that we understand. Once we're on the way, or even there, that call taker is still dedicated to the caller. They stay on the phone and they'll just reassure. So it can be like, fire department, the ambulance are on their way. What will happen now could be, I'm going to tell you how to do chest compressions on somebody that has suffered a cardiac arrest. They can do bleeding control for one of those things. I can help you deliver a child. There are quite a few things that we call kind of a pre-arrival instructions. There's just a lot. So that person doesn't just hang up. They can, or they can stay with the caller and then keep going with that information. So, the cost slide. So the EMD cost allocation. As you can kind of see, the numbers are just, they've changed over the years, and this is just, has to do with how the county is just basically their cost allocation. It actually helps us here in Gilroy and throughout the county, as this is a really clear picture of what the service truly costs. So behind the scenes, as this goes through, there's training, there's certifications, there's software, there's hardware. There's a lot that goes into this very specific protocol. So the county notified, there's 3 agencies that utilize them to provide this service. They notified us that they have basically redid their cost allocation for the true cost of what this service provides. So as we were notified in 2025, we met back with the county to kind of understand what our options were, and we were able to come up with a phased-in plan. So that's why you'll see the fiscal year numbers up there, just because the sticker shock, especially for the city and the fire department, was what you see right there. And so just based on us having those communications, that is our agreement that we came up with. So what we're here to kind of share with you is fiscal year 26-27. You'll see the change in the cost allocation has crept up to $172.56. That is due in June. What we've communicated with them was a 2-year agreement. This 2-year agreement for fiscal year 26-27, 27 going to 28 is to allow us time to study what the best path going forward is. And so we'll kind of present some of those options, which are limited, but basically that is what we're kind of buying some time for, to actually present to you what we think is going to be the best service delivery for the city of Gilroy. What this looks like on the workload, so as those costs come up, your Gilroy firefighters are quite busy. Every day we staff no less than 9 firefighters on duty operating on 3 fire stations. They will average 7,500 calls, which generates about 9,000 total unit responses per year. Out of that total number, 5,000 are medical calls. So your firefighters are really busy running all over the place. Out of those 5,000, 3,520 go through the complete EMD process. So that goes up to the county, and those county call takers actually go through the whole script, the whole process, and there's a lot of back and forth. So that cost allocation, what that actually does is that you have to have the dedicated dispatcher, the call taking, you have to have those people on 24/7 because the calls always continue coming in. The protocols are very specific. It is, you are trained, you are certified, you have QA, QC, QI, there's all those little pieces that they have to maintain. You have to have a 90 to 95% compliance. So you listen to the calls. There's a lot that goes into this. There's recertification. It's just a lot of moving pieces. So that cost reflects all of that. So the evaluation of our alternatives. I said there really isn't a whole lot. Either they can do it or we can do it. So this kind of long runway that gives us for up through this year and into next year is to provide the best level of service. When you undertake this level of service has to be sustainable. We can't just decide to do this for 2 or 3 years. That kind of investment really isn't sustainable unless you have a plan. So what we are asking right now is continue contracting with the county communications. It's what we've been doing for several years. It is working for us right now, but it also will basically buy us time to continue the evaluation of if we bring this in-house. If that is an option, to take that service and give it underneath the police department to the ECC folks, what does it take? So, what we're going to kind of ask is, give us some time, let us get through the complete evaluation. And the evaluation isn't just the fire department. We're just a recipient of their service. So this goes under the police department and the ECC. The three of us meet on a regular basis and are trying to figure out what the best path going forward is. Like I said, this has to go with staffing. If you're going to dedicate a call taker that can be on the phone for 4 to 5 minutes, that means they're not dispatching PD, they're not dispatching fire trucks, and they can't take other calls. So there's a whole staffing component. The training, it's very intensive. There's more, not just your normal, how do I answer the phone, how do I dispatch police officers, or how do I dispatch the fire trucks. There's a whole other piece. Like I said, you're answering a whole scripted piece there. And then the system requirement. We have to evaluate our current dispatch system and how that would incorporate into there and what that would look like. So that being said, right now we're just working with the police department collaboratively. And I bring that up just because it comes up quite often. If the ECC is under the police department, why am I the one up here talking to you? I just happen to be the recipient of what EMD is. EMD is exactly for the emergency medical services. The fire department in Gilroy provides that service. So I understand that role, but we work collaboratively hand in hand with the police department. So that's why you kind of see the two of us together. So that concludes the presentation or the information sharing right here. I'm happy to answer any questions. But as I mentioned before, some of the details are still being worked out as kind of part of the evaluation, so I'll do my best to answer any of your questions.
I'll start questions with Councilmember Ramirez and then jump to Councilmember Fugazi.
So thank you. So of course, looking at the sticker shock, I agree with you. It is kind of our hands are tied in regards to it's a service we have to give. And it's not like it's a number of vendors out there that you can just go shopping around for. So I can appreciate that. It scares me, these numbers, because okay, this is it's gone up almost doubled in each year. So then what happens? Are we looking at 600,000-700,000 the next year? But I know that there are a number of nuances associated with this in terms of staff turnover. I would imagine there's high staff turnover in this niche. And the question would be, how easy is it to recruit someone as well? I know that it's hard to everybody's trying to recruit firefighters, everybody's trying to recruit police officers. Is everyone also trying to recruit these types of communication specialists as well? So the question that I have is, are you looking at even a possible third option in terms of regional? Now, I understand, I am a little confused because I thought this was something that was offered to pretty much all the cities of San Jose, excluding like CAL FIRE, like Morgan Hill goes with CAL FIRE, but all the other county-wide cities, don't they rely on this communication center?
So there's 3 agencies currently right now, Morgan Hill, Gilroy, and the city of Milpitas, that contract with county communications. Each of the other cities within the county, Santa Clara County, provide their own in-house service. And a lot of times they're just a bigger, more robust system, and they can absorb that kind of call volume and training. So the ones that are parallel to us, those other, like I mentioned, Morgan Hill, Milpitas, are similar to us. So historically, it has just been cost feasible to contract with county communications for the service.
So there would be no other cost saving if it went away from the county, but the 3 jurisdictions still did something regional?
There are, well, yes, we're looking at all alternatives, and that includes communicating with those other 2 cities in hopes of there is some kind of collaborative agreement.
That was my question. Thank you.
Councilmember Fugazi and then Councilmember Klein.
So the last statement answers one of my questions, which is that we're looking at some joint effort to possibly replace this county service with some similar shared thing, similar to the way we do sewage treatment or things of that nature, right? That's being explored, and you're looking to move forward with this many years in order to buy us time to be able to figure that out if we can possibly figure that out. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And then the cities of similar size up north that are doing it themselves, who would they be?
So all other cities, well, let me backtrack. It's easier to tell you. So the only cities that contract within the county communications are under the jurisdiction of the county fire department. So those are the Campbell, Los Altos, like their service they provide. All of them go through county communications, Morgan Hill, Gilroy, and Milpitas. Everybody else from Palo Alto, Mountain View, City of San Jose has their own. They provide their own in-house service.
And so a city like Mountain View, how much would they be spending in order to do this? Would it be $300 and some odd thousand or double
I wouldn't
that?
even be able to speculate what their budget is. That's all it would be with speculation. However, we can find out as part of our investigation or our evaluation of what and how they collaborate up north, for that service. Now, those cities up there are just different. There's a difference between North and South County just based on their jurisdictional, from where their auto aid, boundary drop, mutual aid services are. And they're more of a regionalized versus once we get down South County, there's a gap between Morgan Hill and Gilroy that kind of negates that closeness that you see up in the northern part of the county. But to go back to your original point, we're looking at just about anything and everything we can.
So you said that this kind of a service is very determinate and very prescriptive. Is that correct? That sounds like something that's going to get replaced pretty soon by AI.
So AI, it has a huge component.
I saw a few companies that are adding a bunch of services for that.
And it does. And it really is to expedite the time dedicated to the calls. So like I said, anywhere we can lose or there's a delay of maybe 120 to 150 seconds while this kind of plays out, which is actually a significant amount of time when you're talking about emergency situations. So they're trying to incorporate AI to expedite that, maybe kind of verify phone numbers and addresses and some of those determinants a little bit quicker. Also, you see it on the QC and the QA component of it, that they can give immediate feedback to the call takers and the dispatchers.
Thank you.
You bet.
Councilmember Klein.
Yeah, I would say, just with my lived experience in the last quarter in this process, it is critical, especially for the person that's on the phone, to have that communication. So I really appreciate that process. You've answered some of my questions already as far as with the process. It sounds like you're going to turn over every stone to figure this out, whether it's here specifically or collaborating with both Morgan Hill and Milpitas too, in trying to reduce this cost. So
yes,
looking forward to see what you come up with.
So am I.
Good.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
You're
no
very
further
welcome.
questions at this time. We'll go to public comment.
I have no speakers.
Okay. Any last comments by council? None. So this is more of a comment maybe for our city administrator, but so it's not just the EMD services prices costs that are going up. I believe it's the Animal Center, the Crime Lab, and perhaps I'm missing a few departments. It does seem like it's a county-wide cost escalation. I was talking to the cattle grazers last week, and they work directly for the recreation department, and they provide an incredible service to the county parks by just alone in fire prevention. And for that, their price to allow their cattle to graze to do fire prevention for the county are also continuing to escalate. So there's a challenge here that we have with some of the services that are being supplied by the county, and I know that we're going to have to look at all of them as we move along. So with that being said, I will entertain a motion to approve a 2-year agreement with Santa Clara County Communications Department for emergency medical dispatch services in the amount of $170,256 in fiscal year 27 and $329,803 in fiscal year 28, and authorize the city administrator to execute the contract and associated documents.
So moved.
A motion by Councilmember Klein. I need some help. And a second by Councilmember Marks. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco? Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Boso?
Yes. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you, Chief. Moving on to number 10, introduction of new business. 10.1, approve the establishment of a City Council Homelessness Ad Hoc Subcommittee and appoint up to 3 City Council members to serve on the subcommittee and provide direction on the home-based proposal and option. I believe Matt is going to report on that since Sharon is out sick.
Thank you, Mayor. The city received a proposal from Homebase, funded by Destination Home, to provide for a series of meetings to facilitate a conversation about strategies around the unhoused and how to proceed from the city's perspective in addressing the unhoused into the future. This is funding that does not require a match. It's fully funded outside of the city. The ask is that the council identify folks to participate in this ad hoc committee and participate in the meetings that would occur over the next up to 6 months with a series of in-person and virtual meetings. Total value of the contract would be about $58,000 or up to $58,000, but again, at no expense to the city. So with that, the idea is that the mayor would put together an ad hoc committee, or the council would put together an ad hoc committee to serve in this role. And that concludes staff's report.
Before there's any questions, I'll add a little comment if you guys don't mind. As some of you may know, I've been working on this for quite some time, and I've been having the conversations with Destination Home and Homebase regarding some of the challenges that we have in Gilroy regarding our unhoused community. And I am very hopeful that we can put together an ad hoc committee with some stakeholders in our community to see if there can't be a better way to find better solutions for the unhoused community and for the housed community in the city of Gilroy. So this is why this has been presented to us in the form of a grant from Destination Home. And I'm willing to answer some questions from council regarding this, if there are some. Councilmember Fugati?
So the first question you just answered, which is they didn't just out of the blue ask to come and help us. We asked them to help us.
Yeah, I started a conversation with them almost a year ago, and it evolved into this opportunity.
And so the idea to create a subcommittee is not separate from that. It's only if we do that. Is that the idea?
The idea is to put together an ad hoc committee from this council with stakeholders. So I believe that, I think I'm going to answer your question correctly. And part of their proposal is that we do have local stakeholders as part of this ad hoc committee.
So it's not desirable to have a subcommittee unless we involve Homebase.
Homebase is going to act as a facilitator, and they have previous experience in doing this with other councils. So they'll be able to help us give guidance, not make the mistakes if we don't have the experience in doing this. And they'll also help with the agendas, and they'll help with keeping track of future agendas, and they'll help with any legal advice in the event that our ad hoc committee starts making wrong decisions. None of what they're proposing to us is going to be a directive or anything is going to be contingent. They're there to help guide us with the goals of the subcommittee.
So there's two things on the agenda, though, right? One is make the subcommittee, and the other is approve the coordination with Homebase, right? They're two separate
Correct.
things, right?
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you don't want the one without the other.
Correct.
Okay. So even if a council member thought it was a good idea to have a subcommittee on homelessness, no subcommittee unless we also do the Homebase thing.
I felt it seems to me that it would be beneficial from having an organization that has experience in doing this before. So when we have a ad hoc committee, that we would have guidance.
Okay, well, I'll leave it at that until it's comment time.
Sure.
Questions.
Councilmember Ramirez?
I would just like to advocate that in number 2, it says proceed with the home-based proposal and option of facilitation of 6 monthly meetings with 4 virtual and 2 in person. If this is approved and we do go down this route, I would like to, I know that in the packet and in the proposal, there was a second option to expedite that and have, instead of monthly meetings, 2 per month, cutting it into 3 months. I realize that there would be more impact on staff from that, but I would like to be able to get this. I don't want this drawn out for 6 months. I'd rather have this, let's get it done, and with then allowing some flexibility and grace to staff in knowing that there's going to be more impact on them.
Sure. Additional comments or questions?
Yeah, one more question. Did I read it right that it's 6 meetings and they're getting paid $7,000 per meeting? Is that how it was written?
I think if you do it by each meeting, I do believe they also have a narrative in there about preparation and final reports.
But they're like 2-hour meetings, right? Isn't that what it said?
Correct.
Okay, because we didn't have a presentation for the public, so I wanted to make sure the public, if you didn't read the packet, understood that.
Thank you. Councilmember Klein?
Yeah, forgot what I was going to say. Excuse me.
Right.
Got thought. Listen to him. But I like the idea of this, and I think trying to come up with something. This gives you some structure. Plus, cost-wise, we're not paying anything. What burden is there on staff in terms of cost and their time? Just the 2 hours of the meeting, or how much staff would be involved with this?
We don't know for sure. Obviously, it's the duration of the meeting would be the main staff burden. And then beyond that, if there's deliverables in between that staff needs to provide, there might be some additional work. We don't expect it to be, we're not planning on it to be significant a body of work. That would obviously change the perspective a little bit. But
maybe like 5 to 10 hours? Or
probably over the course, 10 hours over the course of the workload.
Okay. Thank you.
Additional comments? Okay, I'll go to public comment.
One more question. So staff are going to go to these meetings, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so if we go with the option that is option 6 meetings, that's 12 hours at least for staff just to attend meetings, not entertain questions from the rest of the council on anything that comes up.
Yeah, I think I was referencing the time in between meetings to be able to support the discussion.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'll move to public comment.
Thank you. I have 4 speakers: Ron Kirkish, followed by Joanne Fierro, Anne Marie McCulley, and then Jan Chargen.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, City Manager, City Attorney, and community at large. I'm not for this. When I first read it, I thought maybe this is what we were considering to be the end goal for the project, Camp Hope, and that this would be, knowing that after 90 days, there would not be a successful conclusion, and that this is what we're going to use to continue on this project or this process. I look at this in a jaundiced eye, and the reason why is I know this is the good intention, Mayor, but the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And I believe this is also a Pandora's box, and that we're about to open. The intentions. So what is this subcommittee assigned to do? Is it going to insist that the homeless look for work? No. Is it going to insist that drug addicts go to rehab? No. Is it going to insist that mentally ill go get treatment? No. Will it prohibit drug use in camps and police it? No. So what will it do? the Homeless Subcommittee will insist that Gilroy establishes more Camp Hopes within our city's jurisdiction. And that's what we were concerned about last time, I believe. And as a pull factor, more homeless will begin to migrate to Gilroy, causing the committee to establish even more Camp Hopes sites across our city that already has the highest per capita number of homeless in the entire nation. So again, I'll say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and we don't need a committee that will make Gilroy's homeless problem even worse. Thank you.
Next speaker is Joanne Fierro, please.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. I've been a resident here for 30 years. We've been fighting this problem all that time, and all that happens is we keep getting more and more people living in the streets. 2019, the census had them at 600, 700. We're over 1,000 in Gilroy. Our per capita is way higher than San Jose. We are not doing the right things. These people are experts. They know. They've been working on this for years. They were established in 2009 for Destination Home. I think their guidance would be really helpful. I would love it if we had 3 representatives at these meetings and that we would come out with a plan, an actual policy that would work to take people off the streets. Now, it isn't just housing the ones that are there. It's preventing people from becoming homeless, because obviously that's what's happening. Otherwise, it wouldn't keep growing and growing and growing. I would like to see us live up to what we stated in the housing element when it was first written, and that was to prevent vulnerable residents from losing their homes. We called it in the housing element displacement prevention. And this is something we can do to actually accomplish and make a policy to achieve that. You have to fight homelessness from both ends. You have to house the ones that are unhoused now. You have to prevent more from going on the street. And I really appreciate if some of you would really go there with the open mind and learn what it's really like to be in that situation. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Anne Marie McCauley.
I am the South County representative for Mothers Against Drug Addiction and Deaths. We actively fight for services that focus on long-term recovery and in no way enable drug use. I am on the YMCA board and focus on Gilroy Senior Center and senior homelessness. I became an advocate and sponsor of Carry the Vision's Rooted program to encourage employment for people leaving the justice system. Most recently, I'm participating in a job fair at Reentry, another critical resource that needs to be developed in Gilroy. I'm a business owner and a capitalist that believes in sobriety, hard work, and a community that builds citizens up. Raising standards is the most direct path to improving civic outcomes. Asking more of everyone doesn't hurt anyone. Gilroy needs to do more. This ad hoc committee needs to do more than propagate information not backed up by facts and buy garbage trucks. Gilroy needs to be proactive in solving problems and creating standards. This cannot be done if we continue with false narratives that have no factual basis. The ad hoc needs to focus on the truth. There is proven documentation that over 280 citizens have been permanently housed in San Jose, recently some from Camp Hope. I am prepared to make public comment at the San Jose City Council meeting acknowledging the fact that Gilroy sends other cities, our people to other cities, and apologize for the previous administration's folklore that our problem is the fault of other cities because they are sending busloads of people here. If this is true, why hasn't anyone confronted the other mayors? I challenge city council members and citizens who believe this to back it up with facts and take real action, like I take. This is time for Gilroy to repair the relationships with the county, state, and service providers. The past leadership blamed them for our problems and then expect them to solve our problems at the same time. This hypocrisy has damaged Gilroy's relationship with all those people. Mayor Bozo has taken the opportunity to be proactive for the first time in decades and repair these relationships. Councilmember Kelly Ramirez has earnestly put herself out there to understand the facts and is committed to sticking by them. Both of these leaders and myself are nonpartisan and genuinely want to make our city safe and prosperous. This ad hoc has the opportunity to leave shame, blame, hypocrisy, and Ron Kirkish's opinions in the past and redefine Gilroy with the facts that lead to action, real solutions, and respect.
Thank you. Moving on to the next speaker, Jan Burstein-Chargan.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, for considering this. It's a good idea. The reason it's a good idea is because we need a structured forum to have these discussions. Coming up here in 3 minutes is great, but we need to be able to have longer and substantial conversations that bring in the stakeholders and that bring in the council members. And I served on the board of directors of Destination Home for 10 years. I just rolled off the board in December. And I can say that Destination Home works with Home Base because Home Base does have this expertise, does have this perspective of this regional perspective, as well as the county perspective. Anne Marie is right. You know, just this year, just since July, 100 people have been housed from Gilroy, off the streets of Gilroy. You know, thanks to working within these systems. Home Base understands these systems and also understands why of those 100, 90 are in San Jose, not here in Gilroy where they have their family and their homes, and a lot of people come down and visit. It's a good idea, and it's not going to cost the city anything. Destination Home and Home Base have a relationship. Home Base has the expertise. And, you know, yes, we can find a local facilitator, but we can't find a local facilitator with the regional knowledge, with the regional contacts, with the ability to just go back to their office and pull the plans from all the other cities and from the county and stick the whole, and they already have the spreadsheets. They'll be able to bring a lot of great information and great data to this council to help you make the decisions, because a task force doesn't make the decisions. A task force makes recommendations. So there's no need to fear that the task force is going to do things that the council doesn't want done, because they won't have that opportunity. They're only going to be making recommendations to council, but it's going to help council make better decisions. You know, and the last ad hoc task force brought us our quality of life officers, and I have to say that, you know, they're good. That's actually a good thing. So a task force can bring forward different ideas. I was not as sold as on the dump truck, but the quality of life officers are working, and we absolutely need substantive spaces to have these conversations. We need to be able to drill down in depth more than we can do at a council meeting. And let's bring it, you know, let's bring it in, and let's bring in the community stakeholders and make decisions based upon the best data and the best information and the full context of the county and the region that we're operating in. So thank you very much for considering this.
Thank you.
I have no further speakers.
Okay, thank you. Bring it back to council for comments or questions. Go ahead, Councilmember Fugazzi.
Absolutely think it's a great idea to have an ad hoc committee on this. I can't support Home Base. It's a housing first failed strategy in the state of California of billions of dollars. $7,000 per meeting. I know it's not our money, but it's our money. It's somebody's money that's sitting in this room. And if you want to talk about prevention or housing, displacement and funds and money to go to things like that, it seems like a complete travesty to spend $7,000 per 2-hour meeting. And I can't get behind that. Their expertise is absolutely there, if one wants to call it expertise, in larger organizations, larger areas, county-wide areas and whatnot, bringing things back to this city. again, in looking at this, I did a whole slew of research and looking into AI and everything else. And for Gilroy, as small as we are, and the funding situation that we have, potentially going out to ask for more money from taxpayers, at the end of the day, you're going to come back with a lot of recommendations for things from $7,000 meetings that I don't think we're going to be able to pay for in the first place. And I think the creative nature of members who want to be on a subcommittee like this and work within the community and find community groups like churches and others who can help alleviate the situation in a local way is a better way to use time and energy and taxpayer dollars that, while they're not in Gilroy's coffers, are all of our taxpayer dollars. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Ramirez.
Thank you, Councilman Fugazi. I share your concern with Housing First. I look at it from a little bit different lens in the fact that I'm hoping that this task force, whatever you want to call it, committee, working collaboratively together, eventually comes up with some type of a plan that they can bring back to council for consideration. There are going to be dollars that are going to be associated with that. I'm quite positive. And I think that if we work with an established, known entity as a facilitator, that then if we need to go out for grant money to support whatever plan comes to fruition, I think that that leverages our opportunity a little bit more in terms of receiving grant funding.
Councilmember Klein?
I share the same concerns with Councilmember Fugazi and Councilmember Ramirez, but I also, we're at a point where we need to do something, and so having conversations, I'm not afraid of that, or, you know, 7,000 at meeting. I know it's just not 7,000 a meeting, it's the whole package of the time that's taken in that. So I'm willing to at least go down this road. I support what the mayor's been doing behind the scenes, just trying to work at this, and so I support this.
Thank you. Well, if there's no further comments, I'm going to entertain a motion to approve the establishment of a City Council Homelessness Ad Hoc Subcommittee and appoint Councilmember Bracco and Councilmember Ramirez to serve on the subcommittee and proceed with the home-based proposal and option of facilitation of 6 meetings with 4 virtual meetings and 2 in-person meetings that will occur at times that will be determined later by the 3 council members in consideration with staff. I'm looking for a motion.
A motion.
I have a motion by Councilmember Klein. They're together. They're together. Okay. Yeah, they're together. Thank you. I have a motion by Councilmember Klein. Looking for a second.
Would you be interested in a friendly amendment to that?
Sure. What do you got?
Instead of 6 monthly meetings, do 6 bi-monthly meetings so that it's a 3-month timeline instead of a 6-month timeline.
Well, that's why I left the door open. That it said. That's why I said that will occur at times that will be determined later by the 3 council members from the ad hoc in consideration with staff. I want to leave that door open.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I have a motion by Councilmember Klein, and looking for a second.
Second.
I have a second by Councilmember Bracco. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco?
Yes.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazi?
No.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes. Motion passes 6-1. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll be back for item number 11. Yeah, I made a mistake. Sorry. I thought we had. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I made a mistake. Sorry. Sorry. Sorry about that, Zach.
You had the bet on the
8:30. I had 8:30. I said 8:30.
Sorry.
This guy. But now.
I got my bookie. I got the bookie. Texted me. Go long. Go long.
Yeah, exactly.
You're ready to roll. We could be out of here right now. I could have been asleep. Got a good meeting going there.
Your memo?
See you tomorrow.
All right, see you tomorrow morning.
Councilmember Fugazzi, could you please think about returning to your seat? Thank you very much. Yes,
That's what you're waiting for.
not till I need it. Not till I need it. All right. Sorry. Before we move on to item number 11, I want to clarify one thing back from item number 10.1. During the report of the city administrator, there was some talk that this subcommittee would be, that I, as the mayor, would be on that subcommittee, but I did not mention that in the motion when I mentioned Bracco and Ramirez. So just to clarify that I do plan on being part of that subcommittee. Moving on to item number 11, future council-initiated items. Request to consider amending City Zoning Code Section 30.41.31 regarding performance standards for commercial industrial noise impacting residential zone properties. Fair memo by Councilmember Hilton. Take it away.
Thank you. So I'm requesting to place City Code Chapter 30 Zoning Ordinance Section 41 Performance Standards Noise on a future agenda with possible action to amend the code by ordinance with the goal of providing clear objective standards when it comes to commercial and industrial noise impacting residential zone properties. I'm proposing two separate code changes, as you can see in my fair memo. We will continue to develop more residential units that are mixed use and near existing commercial and industrial developments. These are objective standards that we can put in place to make it clear what noises are allowed and what noises are limited in commercial and industrial noise impacting residential zone properties. And I'm happy to answer any clarifying questions.
Any clarifying questions for Councilmember Hilton?
I have one, and I don't know if it's going to be considered discussion, but
We're not having discussion tonight.
right.
About
I
this.
guess my question though is, what kind of noises are you thinking about that you would eliminate because of housing would be with commercial? That was, I was unclear about that when I read it.
I'm not proposing any like removing any noises or anything like that. It's just about working within the code that's already existing, not about eliminating stuff.
Okay, then I guess I'm confused then. Then why are you doing this? I mean, if you're not eliminating anything, then are you adding stuff? Because I'm very hazy on why you're doing this.
So there's a fair memo that I wrote
Right.
that has the exact language code changes that are in there. We're not going to get into discussing that tonight, but I mean, if you have a question about that, then I would say, save it for the discussion if you could. Okay. So we're not discussing the merits of the code language, but it's very clear to the public and to you all that read it that there are specific changes that I'd like to see made.
I'll go Councilmember Fugazzi and then Bracco.
What makes this time sensitive now that this should be calendared in the upcoming months or whenever it would end up coming? What's the impetus for making this happen now?
So when I first got elected, I brought forward changes to the noise ordinance, and at that time we were planning on working on the zoning code, updates. Like it was supposed to happen that year, 2021, and just following the general plan update, and we've never successfully gone through and done anything like that. We've just sort of piecemealed different code changes. There's two different community groups I was working with back then, and it was like, oh, well, we'll roll it into the zoning ordinance, and I've been waiting for 6 years for us to update that. So there is no urgency that this needs to get done tomorrow, but I can tell you that we're already, we already planned for mixed use. We already have mixed use. And so the urgency in my office's opinion and with some of the community members I'm working with, this is long overdue. And so hopefully that answers your question.
Councilmember Bracco.
Are you talking about like residential button up against industrial?
And mixed use. Yeah, where you've got residential over commercial.
So the residential could move in and then regulate. Okay, I got what you're trying to do.
Any further questions at this point? Move to public comment.
I have no speakers.
Okay. Any other questions or comments for Councilmember Hilton?
No.
Okay. I'll go ahead and entertain the motion to council to consider a future agenda item directing staff to amend zoning code section 30.14.31. Well, My
Oh, sorry, we changed it. Huh?
city attorney to my right said that we'll be voting on this.
Yeah, I suggest that.
They did that last time, too.
I suggest we have an actual vote, and
Yeah,
the
they
vote
did
is
that last
whether or
time.
not to bring this back in front of the council for future discussion, of course.
So I'm looking for some help here. Councilmember, you guys spoke, so I thought you were going to make a motion. Are you
Oh, yeah, all motion, sorry.
I have a motion by Councilmember Hilton.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a second by Councilmember Ramirez. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco?
No.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazi?
No.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
No.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 4-3. Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 12, City Administrator's Report.
Thank you, Mayor. Over the last week, I've had opportunity to attend several events, many of which were mentioned tonight, including the plant sale at the Miller Red Barn. It's a great opportunity to see the inside of the barn and the activity of the community, as well as the compost giveaway, which was extremely popular with a large number of cars that were out there loading up compost for their gardens. And then also the wine walk in the afternoon. Great weekend of events in Gilroy.
Thank you very much. Item number 13, City Attorney's Report.
Okay, I have no report, but I'll take us to item 14, if that's all right with the mayor.
Yes, please.
And that is 14.1, public employee appointment / employment pursuant to Government Code Section 54957. Excuse me. And Gilroy City Code 17A11-2, name title is Police Chief. So the appropriate thing now to do is to ask for any public comment.
I have no speakers.
No public comment, then council may adjourn to executive closed session, and the first item in closed session will be to vote whether or not to stay in closed session, and that vote is a reportable action.
Thank you very much.
Yes, we're adjourning to closed session.
Adjourning to closed session.
See that?
Yeah, that's right. We got to fix that.
And it's getting worse.
No, I don't want it.